What a time to politic, and who else, who better to have this conversation with rather than Honorable Kipruto Arap. Kirwa. Habari yako?
Salama.
Very good to see you.
Nashukuru pia. Yes.
How is life after public service?
Well, it's still very interesting because I still serve the public quietly.
Oh, really?
Through such an interview.
Oh, yeah.
Because I believe this is nation building.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Asante.
Thank you for being here. It's a good show of what you're saying.
Asante.
And you have noticed, you seated there, you have noticed a generational shift. Because you were there in the days of, from what parliament?
From the 6th parliament.
From the 6th parliament.
Yes, I did 4 consecutive terms. Yes, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Yeah.
Okay.
I served for that period.
All right. Honorable Kipruto Arap Kirwa was the former MP of Cherengani.
Yes.
And he was also once the Minister of Agriculture.
Yes, and was assistant minister in the same position.
Yes.
And of course, when I left the ministry, I was IGAD special envoy for 4 years to Somalia peace and national reconciliation. Yes.
And you're also vice chair of UDA party once?
Many parties. UDA, I was the deputy leader of ANC, Musalia's party. I've been chairman of Newfort, Kenya with Eugene Wamalwa. So we've served.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's no other better person to have this conversation with then. I'm so excited.
Asante.
Now, you saw what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
You have seen the new front of young people coming out to put their voices out there. I had someone say we shall now call them Young Kavirondo Tax Association. Now, you see the fire in that generation. It's a generation of the millennial and the generation Z.
Yes.
Now, it has been awakened because of this finance bill. And this awakening, I realized, started last year in 2023, because we've been having finance bills, but it has never been on the APRO this way. Now, this awakening, have you ever witnessed an awakening like this in this new 21st century democracy? Well,
I strongly believe these are young people who are 40 years younger than us, and even 40 years younger than the president.
Yes.
But I'm happy and thrilled by the fact that these are young people, but they seem to understand the trajectory the country has taken, and they are concerned, just like any one of us, about the challenges in Kenya. What had started worrying me in the recent past was that young people were being apolitical, and therefore the changes that were taking place in society, to take a politician such as former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and other leaders, for them to mobilize the public. But this was self-motivation by the young people. And I want to applaud them, because I think there was a lot of mobilization through the social media before those who managed to show up in the streets of Nairobi on the 18th of this month. I'm happy because this is their country. Kenya belongs to them more than it belongs to us.
Yes.
As we are midwives of the process of handing over this country to the younger generation. That is the pleasure that I derived in the evening when I saw Kenyans getting involved in the struggle to make their country better. Yeah.
Well, yes, power belongs to the people.
Yeah.
I'm going to pose this question to you. Don't you think that we need to have a limit? Everything does have a limit. Democracy could have its limits, and the power of the people can also have its limits. Case in instance, the parliament, the people in, which country is this? Is it Burkina Faso? They burnt down their parliament.
Yes, because of the late Blaise Compaoré. The former president, Blaise Compaoré. Because when he took over for 27 years, he led the country and he made it look like one-man show. And he emasculated parliament. And when parliament was emasculated, the people of Burkina Faso said, this is where trouble lies. And there is no need for this parliament. They burned it down because they no longer believed in parliament.
Yes. And now on that, you see, there's a thin line between the freedom and turning to anarchy. At the same time, the government needs to be kept on checks and balances needs to be kept on its toes. The figure or the picture of opposition has always been Raila Amolo Odinga. But this time, like you've said, Raila Amolo Odinga was not in the picture. Now, and that as we speak right now, we say that we have no opposition, or do we have an opposition? Now, the question I want to ask is that how effective is this uproar, use of social media, use of demonstrations, picketing, Article 37, in case in point our country? How effective is this going to be? Because in the past, we've seen the history of demonstrations. And as that's now, Raila Odinga is holding a position in the AUC. And I could say he's quite quiet. He's not in the streets anymore. So what's the end game of these demonstrations in this new awakening of democracy?
It will depend on how the government will react. The way I saw largely yesterday, or the 18th of this month, is that the demonstrators were harmless. They were not armed. The demonstrators did not carry any mode of weaponry, no stone, nothing completely. They were only voicing their concerns about the state of affairs in Kenya. So it's only that I was worried the kind of force that the government used to disperse them was excessive force. So what we need to do is to call out on the government to make sure that they don't use excessive force. At the same time, request our young people that whatever they have started is good, but they should operate within the limits of the law, the limits of the constitution, realizing that this is their country. They have a responsibility, they have an obligation. So at the end of the day, they should not relent. My worry is that if some of them will accept to be compromised, that will be the beginning of destroying that phase of resistance.
You're very right. They should not relent, and they should keep on the spirit, right? Yeah. And now the finance bill underwent various proposals and reduction of some of the amendments that are supposed to hit the target of 400 billion. Now, how should the government balance between raising revenue and having the needs of the people on the forefront? The majority leader says we can't have our cake and eat it, says something has to give. And the government now targets to increase petroleum and exports promotion taxes to fill the void left after dropping some levies contained in the Finance Bill 2024. Now, if you were president today, if you were in his shoes, with all this that is happening, maybe I'll play the devil's advocate here. What is the president to do now?
Well, in the first place, when they made the about turn yesterday, or on the 18th, they did not exactly make us believe their story, because they were saying they are doing this to cushion the vulnerable. They are doing this to make sure that we encourage production or processing of the materials like diapers and other sanitary ware. They were saying they are doing it because they premised on the wrong law the issue of car circulation, which means they're not taken enough time. And as a responsible government, we would expect them before they configure anything, they must take cognizance of the existing laws, the situation that is likely to precipitate in the country, and also make sure they are able to safeguard the vulnerable in our society. Now, the mistake is not for us to correct for them. In the first place, if I was the president, I would not have brought those measures as a way of raising revenue. I would have looked at, there is the expenditure and supply. Supply, where you're getting supply of money, and where you are spending the same money. I would have improved in terms of expenditure, so that whatever we are expending, we do what we call prudent management of public resources to reduce pilferage and to make sure that every penny goes for the right work to be done. And we reduce wastage, so that even the budget could have been smaller. Remember, Esther, this budget is like that of the three countries in terms of revenue collection. Kenya is equal to Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda all put together.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, we are raising about $3 billion. And those three countries, they are raising the same $3 billion. And that is a population of 120 million people. Kenya, we are about 50 million people. And as you know, the issue of GDP is what everybody is producing. So there are more hands in Tanzania, Rwanda, and Uganda to produce the kind of taxes we are producing, a population of 50 million people. And our poverty is not better than that index, is not better than of those particular countries. We compare almost at the same rate in terms of poverty index. So it is a question of understanding what is your situation and who are the people that you have. What is their capacity to produce those taxes? What are the projects that you need to have? Then you say you cut your cloth according to your size. You don't just measure a cloth that is oversized or undersized. So that at the end of the day, you are not overtaxing your people. Because when you overtax them, you frustrate them and they will not go to production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was just a case in point with the Finance Bill 23 and now Finance Bill 24.
Yeah.
Looking back, the Kenya Kwanza government came in at a very rough place because until today, organizations, businesses, individuals, the whole Kenya at large is still feeling the effect of the COVID-19. Because we cannot say that ripple effect is, businesses are still down trying to catch up.
Yeah.
We've had a drought of about 40 years. We're just coming from that. And then we also had the the Ukraine-Russia war. All this was happening at a transition point in government. Before government could settle, there was destabilization with the demonstrations and so what and what and what. And then we also have the issue of public debt. Now, I am seated here and really looking like the president is really trying. I said I'll be the devil's advocate today.
Yes.
I'm seated here and I'm saying, I think he's really trying, but whatever he had as a plan in his plan manifesto, he has got to the office na akapata the reality sasa akasema mambo kwa ground ni different. Now, how is he supposed to raise that? Because now he cannot borrow anymore. Okay, fine. The ceiling for borrowing has already been hit. So if he borrows, it's already compromising our economic situation. The budget already is at a deficit. So I'm just seated here and wondering now, President Ruto, what's next?
Well, he should have demonstrated, they say, leadership is by example. He should have demonstrated to all Kenyans that he's not going to have thieves in his government. But what we see is display of lagis by his ministers, cronies, and people associated with him.
So deal with corruption?
He had told us that he was chasing cartels from State House. So I realized, State House is next to Arboretum. As he chased the other ones through Arboretum, others entered through Gate A. And therefore he has enough of cartels in his State House. Would have expected that Kenya Revenue Authority would have better measures of collecting revenue from us, made them friendly, more and more friendly. It would have also assisted systems to work. For example, if you want to get into NTSA portal, at times it can take you the whole day. Whatever this other one they call e-something. And almost all kinds of revenue that we want to pay the government, it takes almost half a day or 2 days before you are able to enter, even City Hall. It takes a bit of time. He should have improved those measures so that it is easier to pay revenue, it is friendly, and you would have raked in more resources than is the case today. You would have also made it possible for people to have lower taxes so that they go into production. Remember President Kibaki, when he took over, he reduced VAT from 18% to 16%, and yet he collected more in terms of direct revenue coming from VAT. you would have also demonstrated reliability. You know, taxes is a product of the ability and also the trust you have in the leadership. Now, today, I'm paying taxes because I have to be compliant. I'm not paying taxes because I believe they will do what they are saying.
Yeah.
So these are some of the measures. If I was the president, which I am not, I would have also been able to put in place to make sure that there is something that Kenyans believe in my program of things. And finally, the budget does not have to be 4 trillion. The budget does not have to be 2 trillion. The budget must be the things you can do within the given time. You would have also spent more time thinking about the workers. We've been told in State House there are ghost workers. In Parliament there are ghost workers. In various counties there are ghost workers. These ghost workers cost us money. Because for every penny that you raise, a fraction of that goes to pay people. And of course, for every 100 shillings you raise, 61 shillings will go to pay the debt. In that way, you would have also been able to deal with the debt without increasing the debt. He has borrowed for the same period more than President Uhuru borrowed in the same period. So he's not really telling us the truth. He's borrowing more than he's telling us. And also, finally, Esther, we would want to see consistency between figures coming from State House, figures coming from Treasury, and figures coming from Parliament about this so-called debt. Because there is the external and there is the domestic. Domestic has gone up. What does it mean? It takes away money that I would have borrowed as an individual to do business. And if I'm not borrowing from the bank, because the government has taken away that money, it means I will not do business, and therefore I will pay less tax because I'm not doing any transactions. This is something that does not need an economist from Harvard. It needs just a simple logic, and the president can deliver on his mandate.
Do you think he's being misadvised?
It is he himself interfering with processes. I don't think President Ruto is willing to get anybody's advice. Otherwise, we tell him every day that things are not right. But he believes he knows. And he has certain statistics that are so clear to him, and those statistics don't make sense. When he tells us, oh, the cost of inflation has come down, who doesn't know that there's no money in anybody's pocket today? Inflation means a situation which takes away money from you, because there will be very little money, very few goods being chased by money. And if there are few goods, it means the prices will go up and the money will be taken away from your pocket. It doesn't need an economist. It needs just somebody who understands basic economics. Perhaps first year at the University of Nairobi.
And now we are looking at the wage bill. We are looking at austerity measures in which he's really failing. We are looking at, he's also appointing cabinet administrative secretaries.
Yes.
And when you ask them, they'll say, that's a drop in the ocean. That amount is nothing.
And 250 advisors to work for the various ministers and himself. So,
Well, now, there's a section of Kenyans that is thinking that this finance bill, okay, I want to transition to the relationship between the president and his deputy. It has been short-lived, and at this time you're already noticing cracks in the relationship in a once promising and blooming marriage. A section of people say that that was divisionary to divert us from the finance bill topic. But what do you have to say about this relationship between the president and his deputy?
it's a reality. Even if you saw the body language of the deputy president yesterday and the position he was occupying, almost at the back, and look at his facial expression, and those of us who've been trained to read body language, we realize that this relationship is dead. It is dead. It's just like people staying in their home, that we are here because of the children.
Because of the children.
Yeah. The children are there. But I'm sure the two have lost taste in their own arrangement.
Wow.
So I would not expect them to work together. But for the time being, I just pray that they don't cause any toxicity to the rest of the country. That they should tolerate each other. They decided to go together for the balance of the period. And if I was to give any advice to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, please, your time is over with William Ruto. Prepare for another political arrangement. You are still young, you are vibrant, and you have all the credentials to make you a leader in this country longer than the period that you are going to serve with William Ruto.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Now, what happens if Gachagua starts politicking right now?
There's
see
no
what's
problem.
happening?
Kenyans are used to politics.
Really?
Have you realized that after every election,
Is it healthy
somebody
for us?
is being sworn in, by the time he puts down the Bible, he has started campaigning for the next round of things? The current president is a good example of that. 2013, immediately they won. He went around the country under launching of projects until the former president realized, this is not about launching of projects. This is about launching of the next phase of campaign. He has gone back to launch the projects he launched as deputy president, which means actually he was not launching them. He was trying to make his presence felt throughout the country. Yeah.
Now, what do you have to say about his one man, one vote, one shilling
Gachagwa's
proponent?
It is a good idea, and he has not said that he's going to force it on people. He has brought it as an agenda for discussion. And if I was to sit down with him, I would tell him that is good. But I can have a better idea that yes, population can count for 50% of the weighting of that shilling. Then the other parameters can go to landmass, can go to geographical challenges, can go to poverty index. Because, for example, Trans Nzoia is the same landmass as Kiambu County. Trans Nzoia has 940,000 people. Kiambu County has 2 million people. So if you are to consider landmass and population, Kiambu must get slightly more money than Trans Nzoia.
That one man, one vote, one shilling, is it not people from Central who rejected it a while ago?
No, it has never been given a fair hearing. It was in a court of law that it was outlawed. Otherwise, the people of Central Kenya, and let me give you, Esther, Trans Nzoia, where I come from, I will benefit from that. Uasin Gishu, where I also have some interest, I will benefit from that. Nandi, I will benefit from that. But I want us to make it better. Think about the population. Think about the landmass. Think about poverty index. Think about certain development challenges, such as Mombasa is basically a town. And therefore, you cannot compare Mombasa with Kwale. Mombasa has a lot of investment required on the roads, on the drainage, on water reticulation, and on other amenities that are required for an urban center. But Kwale is urban, but largely rural. So you cannot compare the two. And of course, Kwale is bigger than Mombasa. So the landmass of Kwale must be taken into consideration. The population of Kiambu must be respected. The population of Kakamega must also be respected. The population of Vihiga, which is one of the highest densely populated counties in Kenya, must also be respected. All these parameters put together, we can get the necessary permutations to get what is the formula that best represents the interests of the country, not of a section of the country. So the deputy president is within his right to talk of one man, one shilling. But I'm telling him it is good, but not good enough. We can better it by bringing other parameters. Yeah.
So Mheshimiwa,
Yes.
way forward, we have the UDA disunity.
Yes.
You see what's happening in Mount Kenya.
Yes.
For the first time, I think Mount Kenya is going to vote as a divided bloc.
Yes.
We are seeing figures like Ndindi Nyoro come up, claiming to be groomed for the deputy position,
Yes.
deputy president position. Cecilia Mbari yesterday not said that you men, it's not only you men who want this position. We women also want this position.
Which I agree with her.
So way forward for this in the politics of Kenya. And now look at in relation to what's happening, the finance bill, high taxes, public debt, service provision.
You say they say a monkey that is destined to die will find every tree slippery. UDA will find it slippery, whatever they do. If they make Ndindi Nyoro running mate, he will be running mate that will never get to the deputy presidency. And that is the situation. UDA, if it does not have the support of Central Kenya, it is dead on arrival. Central Kenya is the heartbeat of UDA. UDA without Central Kenya is dead on arrival. I can assure you. That's why Rigathi is going to be a good kingmaker. Should he pick somebody like Alonso, allow him to run, he retains deputy president, they get somebody from...
Wait, you said Rigathi should pick Kalonzo?
As a presidential candidate, get somebody from Western Kenya, get some of us to be generally around. Yeah, I don't have to have any position, but generally around, telling them waze tufanye hivi. That is going to be the combination to win. In fact, I want just to advise the president, losing Mount Kenya is losing the election. Please, Mount Kenya is a block, and I just want to advise you, they may not vote as two different blocks. They make decisions on the 11th hour. In 1992, we were fearing Mwai Kibaki was going to be a serious threat to President Moi. On the eve of elections, when Christmas took place, because elections were about 29th, the Mount Kenya block changed down from Murang'a, Kiambu, Nakuru, all the way to Trans Nzoia. They changed and they voted for Matiba. Matiba came close second to President Moi. Kibaki was number 3. So Mount Kenya, they keep quiet. But when they move, the mountain shakes.
The mountain shakes.
And the roots are, the trees are uprooted.
William Ruto, a one-term president.
Yeah, it's good for him, so that he can travel the world.
And give other people a chance also.
Give other people a chance. And you know, he's a nice traveler.
He likes traveling.
He likes traveling.
One of
And
his
I want
hobbies.
him to learn piloting. It will assist him a great deal.
Parting shots to our viewers as we finish the show.
Well, Kenya is our country. We need to keep making it better. Let us improve it, because this space belongs to us. We don't have an alternative space to occupy. You are better off at home than being a refugee elsewhere.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
And until next time, that's it for today. Keep subscribing to this YouTube channel, like this video, comment, and share it to your social media platforms. As we have seen the power of social media, let's keep doing that. Thank you, and see you next time.